The Justin Robert Young Show is brought to you, as always, by PayJuryDaily.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is JuRY Daily. My name is Justin Robert Young. One time Brian Brushwood called me JuRY, and now that's my nickname forever. Hi, it is August 6th, 2018. I'm just going to let you know that I'm back from Gen Con. And by back from Gen Con, I mean... But hours ago, I was in the Residence Inn by the canal with Dan, the Tabletop Man, and the rest of the Dice Hate Me podcast. Having a great old time, playing some unpublished games, talking shop. Had a great time there. Thank you to everybody who came out. It was an absolute treat to hang out with you guys. And, yeah, Gen Con's fantastic. Always a blast. But... the problem here is that because we wanted to get in that last Sunday night, which wound up being a tremendously fruitful night, so I can't say that it was a mistake. In fact, it was necessary. We had to take the morning flight out to San Francisco from Indianapolis. This was very reminiscent about the days of yore with John Teasdale, my co-creator on The Contender, and Action News, which, by the way, Kickstarter backers, prepare your butts or check your email literally right now, because the emails for fulfillment are going out right now as we speak for Action News. You will be able to get Action News within the week, depending on what shipping you want to pay for. It is loose. Action News will be in the wild before the end of the week. So go ahead and check that out. Oh, by the way, I'm also going to talk about Alex Jones in a second, but I want to get this out of my system. So John Teasdale and I used to travel for a living. We traveled all over the country, nay the world, putting on scavenger hunts for all sorts of organizations. That means that you travel a lot. I used to be on planes 3-4 times a week. I'm a heavy sleeper. I am a pro traveler. I don't want to brag here, folks, but I'm a battle-hardened flyer. I know all the rules. I know the perfect way that I can get into rental. I think I have memorized whether or not rental car facilities are on property or off property. In fact, here's going to be a fun game that you guys can email with or put it on the YouTube comments. Name an airport, and I guarantee you I will not look this up. I will tell you whether or not the rental car facility is on property or off property. I feel like I can go 100% on this. That's how much fucking traveling I've done. But part of that is being able to sleep on flights. Somebody puts in Houston. That is on property. On property. We're not going to do this the entire show, though. And international ones don't count. Orlando's on property. All right. I can sleep on flights. I'm not a finicky man. I'm a very heavy sleeper. I'm able to sleep. I'm also not somebody who bitches about kids on flights. I understand that this is a tough scene for the parents. That specifically, if you just got to go from point A to point B, sometimes these kids are going to get a little fussy, specifically if they're young. They're infants, under 3, something like that. You're going to be in a situation where sometimes the kids are going to cry. But folks, that man that just said that is a relic of the past. And I'll tell you when he fucking died. It was somewhere between Indianapolis and San Francisco, California, because I had a kid behind my head that was screaming so loud. I have never heard a child like, and the parents, I want you to email me on this. You know that scream that your kid does when your kid runs out of voice and then resummons some kind of inner voice that you never knew that they had? Like when it breaks, it's like, yeah, like that kind. This kid was yelling so goddamn loud, and the parents, it was such a shit show that the parents were melting down. The parents were freaking out. So the parents, I can hear the parent behind me going, and by the way, they're literally, when I say behind me, I don't mean 2 rows. I mean literally the row behind me. When I say right behind me, I don't mean that they were another seat away. Literally, the kid that was screaming the loudest was in the seat directly behind me. And the parent is melting down. I can hear the parent behind me going, shh, 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 fuck, why are you crying? Shh, 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 fuck, shh, shh. Here's what I want to know. Parents, you got to have, we're in 2018. I understand the kids cry, but we have never had more tools to kind of calm this down. I feel like you need an iPad. I feel like you need at least an iPhone. I feel like you need little noise-canceling headphones that just disorient the child and make them immediately want to go to sleep. I feel like failing that, I had a little brainstorm. I randomly ran into Anthony Carboni in the United Club. We're just 2 club boys clubbing it up at 9 o'clock in the fucking morning in the San Francisco United Club. He's on the way in. I was on the way out. But I'm telling him about this, and he's like, well, how about, I mean, like, I'm like, there's got to be some kind of, like, MK Ultra experiment from back in the 70s where you're able to just put these fucking kids asleep. Just a very safe, relaxing, mild seizure. We need to come up with a better name than seizure. I understand seizure has a lot of negative things put to it, but just maybe some kind of sequence of flashing lights that humanely makes your kid go into a very relaxing, very natural seizure. A light seizure. You know, just to snap your fingers, you'd be able to wake them up kind of seizure. And by the way, if you don't have this shit, every fucking plane should. Every plane should have an iPad loaded up with a bunch of kids shit, and as soon as they start screaming, you just go, man, is this Sparkle and Shine or whatever the Netflix genie show is? Well, here you go. Oh, you love it, don't you? Some kid ASMR, Gigaloop says in the chat room. This is what I'm talking about. We need to brainstorm this. Because if that kid was able to wake me up, it's a problem. That's a problem. United needs to step in. At United, y'all need to take responsibility for this. There needs to be emergency provisions for the parents that don't come prepared or have, for some reason, they accidentally pack the iPad in their other suitcase. No. United has to step in. That's got to happen. All right. That's my bitch. I got off the plane and found out that Alex Jones had been kicked off YouTube, delisted on Apple, and kicked off Facebook. This has been dominating my Twitter feed, so I'll give you guys a real quick hot take, and then we'll go ahead and get into emails. I am not somebody who thinks that Alex Jones is the paragon of intellectual thought. I think that he is best understood as somebody who is capturing the zeitgeist and more specifically the anger of a very specific set of Americans. I do think that he is somebody that if you are trying to cobble together the entire patchwork of political expression, he is somebody to pay attention to. He's also somebody to pay attention to if you are trying to do independent media. Whether or not you like what his content is, he has built a very interesting and profitable operation. Now, I know it's hard to mute the kind of things that he says, but I do think that both of those tenets are important to understand as we walk forward. Is Alex Jones a purveyor of conspiracy theory? Undoubtedly. while he was on his Periscope for however long his Periscope account is still active, he was explaining to his roughly 1,000 concurrent viewers, of which I was one in my Uber on the way back, that the New York Times and CNN are not journalistic organizations. They are rather intelligence gathering apparatuses for the George Soros-led globalist movement. So yeah, I think he's into conspiracies. I also think that if all this happened at once for a lot of Silicon Valley companies that work very, very close to each other, that this was either something that was decided on beforehand. The facts would indicate that it was decided on beforehand that these guys were going to act in concert, or it was a follow the leader kind of thing. One domino hit, and then there were others that went forward. Wouldn't shock me if it was coordinated that way, that everybody can spread the blame, and it's not a move that Facebook did. It's a move that Facebook, Google, and Apple did at the same time. So the argument that is being had in my Twitter mentions right now, my Twitter timeline, seems to be one about whether it's free speech or not, which I think is a fruitless argument. The question that we should be having is, we are building our community online right now. Ortho says, did Google kick him off? I mean Google as in YouTube. His YouTube account has been taken down as well. This is not about the First Amendment. This is about the community that we are building online. Now, for me, and granted, I don't watch the most Alex Jones. I've certainly seen clips of him at his worst, but he creates a lot of content. And his argument would be, sure, he has voiced the opinions of some of the readers and listeners that send him more outlandish things, but it is your problem if you only isolate that instead of taking his other points. I'm not here to fucking stand for Alex Jones. I'm not here to defend him. I'm here to say we need to decide as a community whether or not there is room for wild, borderline, slanderous conspiracy theory to be voiced. It is something that I think should be legally actionable, should he speak something that is legally actionable. But should he be allowed on a platform? Platforms that, by the way, we are only seeing are gaining more and more in terms of importance. Twitter used to be a message board when I first joined. Now it's the Holy Bible for which all of your tweets need to be taken very seriously. So this is a plebiscite. This is us deciding as a community whether or not that should be a part of these mainstream communities. But the decision is not whether or not they should exist. Let's understand that. Because no matter what, it will exist somewhere else. And it will manifest itself in a way that will infect our mainstream community. People will bring these dead birds back into our yard, no matter how well we manicure it. But how do we want to handle it? Because it's not only the platforms in general respond to users. Maybe not as fast as we like, but in the whole, they do. So it is a private company, but they exist because we are here putting on free content. We do get a say. Alex Jones is somebody that I obviously have a tremendous fascination about because he's kind of a wacko bird. And maybe it is my totally desensitized moral compass, which you kind of have to have when you're a reporter. Now I'm just an idiot who talks in a microphone by himself in his room. but I used to be a reporter. That's still the aesthetic for which I judge things. I kind of feel like it's my duty that I have to watch this kind of stuff. I have found it interesting. I have found it almost necessary if you're going to understand the modern political thought. So I would prefer these platforms to have him. Just because I don't want to have to go to whatever fucking crazy site to go look at what he's saying. But I am only one voice. You guys are another. So here's my question. And email this in. JuRyDaily@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the YouTube. Should Alex Jones have been delisted from Apple, have his Facebook pages unpublished, and have his YouTube channels brought down? Let me know. And be honest. If you're emailing in, you can say shit anonymously. I know it's not a popular thing to defend Alex Jones, but send me anonymous shit if you want. But I want to know. I want to know. Where are the borders to our little kingdom? We have less controversial emails that have come in over the weekend from our last show. Of course, you can send emails in JuRyDaily@gmail.com. Again, JuRyDaily@gmail.com. Scale writes, JuRy, if that is your real name. So you don't want to mention which sci-fi shows you reckon are bad. You don't want the letters, huh? Well, I knew you were into birds, but I didn't know you were so much of a chicken. Regardless, I have my suspicions. I know you're kind, watching your Battlestar Galactica with your Caprica spinoff and the lofty heights of serious science fiction. Raise the bar, did it? Oh, Starbuck is a sexy chick now. We're so modern. The Cylons think they're people now. Aren't we special? Humbug! I know your bias. I know which show you hate and by extension which fans. You can't fool me, JuRy. It's Stargate SG-1, isn't it? You're just a Richard Dean Anderson hater. I knew it. I fucking knew it. You people always hating on Stargate. Quote, it's the lowest common denominator sci-fi, unquote. And there's too many religious overtones. And the fourth wall breaking in jokes. Bah! So the first season was a little slow, and yeah, maybe the dean was getting a little tired toward the end of the show. But you know what I say to that? 10 seasons, 214 episodes, 2 feature films, 2 spin-off series, Morena Baccarin, the most beautiful woman currently alive. What's Battlestar Galactica got? Fat Leah Dama, that's what. You people with your Galactica and your Caprica putting on airs thinking you're all that. Humbug! Humbug, I say! I've never seen Stargate. So I wasn't talking about Stargate. I know a lot of people that like it though, so I'm gonna assume it was fine. I really had no problem with it. I hated Caprica. Battlestar was great. Last 2 seasons got a little fatty. No, the sci-fi shows that I hate are usually the ones that are like on currently that everybody swears is like really good, and then 3 years nobody can remember any of the fucking characters. Those are the ones that I hate. Mike writes, your comments on subpar sci-fi shows remind me of Chaos on the Bridge, currently on Netflix. It's a documentary about the shit show that was the first few years of production for Star Trek: The Next Generation. Stuff like Patrick Stewart being forced to wear a wig, an affair with the secretary, non-guild lawyers pretending to be writers and getting caught. Definitely explains some of why we don't get the quality sci-fi we should. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts? I have not seen it. I'm very excited about it because I'm fascinated by the beginning of TNG, specifically in the fact that like they just reuse scripts for a whole nother show. And really, I think the beauty of The Next Generation is that the show that evolved from it was the first great television example of feeding your audience, which I thought was really cool. Justin from YouTube says, yes, I remember the Heaven's Gate cult. We talked about that on Thursday. The new Little Uzi Vert album is a ripoff of the Heaven's Gate cult, and the Heaven's Gate cult are upset about it. Justin points out that the Heaven's Gate cult should shut their mouth. After all, they ripped off their G from the Green Bay Packers. But here we go. Phil writes in, mayo is great. I'm white, if that helps. It doesn't, Phil, although it is very much not surprising. Folks, I want to introduce you to a hero. Not all heroes wear capes, and this one did not. He is just a brilliant man from the lovely sunny Isle of Scotland. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Rossi_K on Twitter, who sent me this absolutely beautiful, breathtaking, majestic video.
Hello from Scotland, JuRY. Lovely, beautiful, hot, sunny day here in Falkirk. Just thinking about maybe getting an ice cream.
What you cannot see if you are only listening is he is in front of the ice cream store in Falkirk.
Actually, just want to try a scoop of the mayonnaise ice cream.
Do you want a taste of it?
No, just give us a scoop, it's fine.
That's my favorite part. My favorite part is he goes to order it, and they're like, oh, do you want a taste? No. Just a scoop. Scoop's fine. He has now bought the ice cream. He is walking forward. And there it goes, right in the trash. Right in the fucking trash. Let's go back. Here we go. An instant replay. Just the most Scottish possible scoff. Ugh. A legend in his own time, Rossi_K. Oh my God, he is my hero. You can go see that video on my Twitter or my Instagram. That is, of course, for both of them, Justin R. Young. Oh, well, there we go, folks. I am being informed in my chat room that I was not lying. The emails are out right now for Action News. If you backed it on Kickstarter, then go ahead and check your email. If you did not back it on Kickstarter, but you do want my brand new game, Action News, then head on over to actionnewsgame.com. A reminder, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Justin R. Young, hashtag join the conversation at diamondclub.reddit.com. You can email me, JuRyDaily@gmail.com. A reminder that you can support the show at payjurydaily.com. Folks, until I talk to you tomorrow, please don't.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.